God, I just wish Saul Spady would do something that we could drag him for again, because it's just he's been kind of quiet, or no one's pushed anything from his show across our noses lately.
Yeah,
I just wish he would lash out.
He's been a good little boy, for sure.
I mean, that's just what makes my heart warm.
Hey, excuse me, gentlemen. Can I take your orders?
Can you tell me about, like, the capers on the Benedict? Are those served raw, fresh, like out of the jar, or do you saute those first?
They're capers.
Yeah, whatever. I'll have that.
What about you?
Do you have Mountain Dew here?
You know what? Actually, fuck it. We're not serving you guys.
What?
Oh, and by the way, your show sucks.
What about it sucks?
Was it the bus lady? I'm sorry.
Stop apologizing. Let's get out of here.
Welcome back to Seattle Sucks, a podcast about hating the city we love. It's me, Colin. I'm here with Greg and Brian.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
I want to have as much energy as I had last week, but I woke up this morning with a hangover, and I still have the headache and nausea from just inhaling the diesel fumes in all yesterday and today and while I slept because of a minor fuel leak. It's mostly cleaned up, but yeah, I'm feeling a little like worn out and woozy. I had a coffee at 6 p.m.
Ooh.
And I'm still kind of foggy, so I may have permanent brain damage or something. I don't know.
Well, and of course you couldn't sleep on top of your boat like a true sailor because
It was
it's been a little
fucking
stormy.
pouring, yeah.
Yeah. A little stormy, guys. Let's talk weather.
Nor could I just like leave the hatches open to air it out.
Well, Greg, would you appreciate some of this delicious smoked salmon eggs Benedict I got from Glow, free of charge?
You offered to clean Saul Spady's plate. That
Yeah. They said, I don't know why that guy left. Here's his order.
Oh, fuck that owner too for selling
that
out.
did really suck.
Their employee. What they don't. So wait, was that in
My Northwest?
Was that on some radio show that came out? Did they call in?
You know, when we saw this at first, I didn't see a clip, but there's a clip here. It looks like maybe he talked about it on his show.
Because no one has yet, as far as I've seen, looked into like, did that server get fired or what? Like if you didn't see it, Saul Spady walked into a restaurant, minding his own business, someplace he claims to have eaten for years.
Since 2012.
Wait, why am I telling you? Let's hear it in his own words. Those are always the best. The best words come out of
Saul is
Spady's
a
own
frequent
mouth.
guest on this show, so let's just have him tell his side of the story.
Hold on, Greg. Where did you say that fuel leak was? I need to do a little huff of gotta get into character. All right, so this was in my
You're
Northwest.
huffing it now, man.
I know, and I also was already huffing plastic, but tomato. This was in my Northwest, and it says, Spady, sorry, but we don't serve your ideology here. That's the headline. And then it has this picture of breakfast, I guess. So here we go. Here's
the breakfast he didn't get to eat.
Here's the ballad of Saul Spady. I took Tuesday off because I needed a break from the rhetoric that is tearing our city and country apart.
Oh, little Saul's just like my job, which is literally rhetoric, as I am a
loser,
political
born with money
commentator on the fucking radio. So, I get paid an exorbitant amount of money that I don't even need to live to ingest and shit out political rhetoric. But I was like, I guess I can just take whatever fucking day off I want because it's getting to me.
Yeah.
So let's just start off understanding. If you don't understand who Saul Spady is
Daddy's
now,
money are going to Glow.
Yeah.
fucking daddy's money, fucking grandpa's
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Okay. Like this is a like second generation small business tyrant.
Yeah, don't they usually say they don't make it past the third generation? Isn't that like the mortality rate for these kinds of businesses?
Well, that's when the
when Saul Jr. gets.
Well, that's when the blood illnesses start to show up. Oh wait, you're talking about the business. So, yeah. So, but yeah, he was tired of ingesting and shitting out politics, and he was going to take a break by ingesting and shitting out some Eggs Benedict.
Yeah,
it didn't work out, huh?
I guess it didn't. So let's hear why.
Well, his little tummy was empty. That's why he's so upset.
Aw.
Little tum-tum.
He's just hungry. In Seattle and King County, we are facing the worst homeless crisis in our region's history.
I bet that's not true, but go on.
I also bet that's not true. Sadly, even talking about solutions, as we've done over the last 7 months on the Saul Spady Show, is too much for some in our city to hear.
So, what's got him down is people not liking his show.
Yeah, they're running their mouth, saying things he doesn't like. They probably didn't go to a charter school.
What I'm hearing is Saul Spady had to take the day off of work because of us.
Well,
we did. Mission accomplished banner comes down.
I wish we could.
Well,
I
and to
had
be
credit
fair,
for
the
this.
most unbelievable part of the story is that anybody working at a restaurant on the hill would have listened or heard the Saul Spady show at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. No, well, I mean, they must have got it secondhand.
Yeah. Oh, that's the
what
only
I mean.
way.
Like this, I want to believe. We should find out. I want to believe in my heart that that this server listens to Seattle Sucks. More likely, they just follow spec. But
They would be a fan of Saul Spady if they listened to this show.
you'd be like, cool, yeah. The real like Seattle Sucks attitude would be like cool and just bask in like the glow of his hair.
Yeah.
And yeah, in
Greased up sex sperm hair.
Sex sperm hair.
They would have gotten him to sign their vinyl copy of the Ballad of Saul Spady.
Yeah.
I just want to see that fragile hand.
Oh,
that
the
couldn't
Ballad of
flip.
Saul Spady needs a new verse.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah,
Ooh.
to cover this epic tale. Anyway, go on.
All right.
We're never going to get through this.
I've made Glows my go-to hole-in-the-wall brunch spot ever since moving to Capitol Hill in 2012. My usual salmon eggs Benedict with a side of avocado and bacon plus bottomless drip coffee has gotten more expensive, now at $25, since I first sat down. But it still is.
That is an expensive fucking breakfast.
And will always be my favorite meal on
He's
the
got
hill.
that fucking salmon
Salmon,
on it.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
problem
yeah.
right there. Get the eggs Benedict with ham.
Yeah.
Like a real blue collar man,
Oh, yeah.
Saul.
Yeah. For real. On Tuesday, however, the host took it upon himself to bluntly deny me service. Why? Because, as he told me, your rhetoric against homeless people is dangerous for the
True.
community, and you're not welcome here.
Yep, all true.
That owns.
That should be true everywhere.
That fucking
He
owns.
shouldn't be able to walk down the street without being pelted by like rotten vegetables.
Or just laughed at. I mean, honestly, dangerous might be an exaggeration. Like he sometimes parrots the real genocidal language that is frankly fucking ubiquitous.
Right.
In this town. But it's usually so fucking incoherent coming out of his mouth that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if you can really like he's just part of the noise.
Yeah, but do you
really.
remember when he had that woman on his show and she was talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
forming gangs?
That
To
was
murder
that
homeless people?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's
So
never- the
he, is
dangerous
he gives a platform.
Yeah.
to
Well, the
fucking
danger's never the things.
genocidaires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's like a black hole of charisma. It's never him. It's like the platform he gives. You're right.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
The people he brings
And-
on.
and-
Well, 'cause,
what he-
yeah,
you know, what he
just looks,
reads
like,
and-
blankly
and quotes
blinks.
and-
yeah.
well, and also I feel like realistically,
When he makes all this stuff sound so banal and normal by just how dumb he sounds parroting
Right.
it. You're like, yeah, he's clearly just a guy who is soaking up whatever is the general wisdom, you know, and parroting it, and that sort of gives it an air of reasonable normality. If someone this stupid could understand and explain it to you, yeah. So
Yeah, it's not like it's something Charles wrote in The Stranger.
What if that was what the host was really upset about? Was his pro lawnmower stance? But yeah.
In short, he told me I was not allowed to eat there and should take my business elsewhere. No one else at the establishment said anything. No surprise there.
Because they all hate you. So, like, yeah, it's not shocking.
Ideological discrimination is a Seattle special.
Well, okay.
What are
no,
you?
it's not.
Yeah, what
Whatever.
the fuck are you talking about?
Do you live in America or the world?
Well, that's like
also,
Saul's a very successful man in Seattle, so clearly it's not true.
Yeah. What it is only because he's a regular did the people there figure out who he was, right? And then they had a natural reaction. And
and because he's a clout shark. He's trying to build his fucking brand in Seattle.
But he's building it on noxious conservative bullshit that he honestly doesn't even understand. He's so fucking dumb. But like, not to let him off the hook. I mean, he is a disgusting human being, but he's also pathetic and stupid. I mean, this is someone who's like just coasted his entire life and never had to have a real thought in his life, and now gets to pretend to have them on the radio
every single day
and
during the commute. I think.
Like what? Like, get over it, man. You want to spout this noxious conservative shit on the radio? Then yeah, people are gonna have a reaction. The toxic idea here is that you should be able to have whatever horrendous opinion about anybody that you want and have have that exist in its own safe little space.
Right.
Where you get to say whatever you want in the public forum, and then no one can judge you by that in your life. Well, fuck off. If somehow, I mean, honestly, if our little role play actually did play out, I guess I would do what Saul did and recount it somewhere on this podcast. But it would be cool and funny, and I would hardly hold it against the thing. I would see, because I'm not a fucking moron. The thing that I would hold against that person who denied me service for my espoused beliefs would be their shitty beliefs, not the very normal, like, next order effect of them not wanting to associate with or serve me. Like, that normal as fuck, okay? And logical and good. It would be that, they also want to genocide the homeless, and that's why they don't want to serve me eggs Benedict. Would be why I wouldn't have a problem with that person.
Yeah. Well, I think too, I think of the left sometimes, this idea of like, we have to have these like sort of statements of tolerance, right? Which is like, we wouldn't want some sort of similar situation of what if somebody was rejected service because they were black or something like that. I think we actually do have to kind of reject that kind of like totalizing nonsense. Like, no, like I think if you believe in workers' power, it is actually not the right of the customer to be served. And
of course not.
And if workers are like, you are an anti-working class detriment who is leading directly to violence against people in the city, they can tell them to fuck off. And honestly, like, I think the host has the right to do that, and fuck Saul Spady, dude.
Yeah, there's
no right to be served.
That's a good point, because there's more at work here than just this sort of civility politics narrative of like, why can't we all just like, have the discourse in one place and our lives in another. But there's this customer's always right shit that underpins this idea that it's beyond the fucking pale for someone to tell you to get the fuck out of a restaurant for whatever reason they please, because they just don't want to look at your fucking face, which absolutely is how it should be. If the servers at a restaurant all want to just take their fucking smoke break at the same time and are just fucking tired of dealing with your bullshit, they should just fucking hang the sign on the door and tell you to fuck off, Like,
I mean, like, if you go into a place and they like tell you to go away, the reaction is just be like, all right. It's like there's like one
Yeah.
restaurant in town,
Right.
Yeah.
And
God knows he
workers
walked
are not your
somewhere else
servants.
on the hill
Yeah.
and one of the other 700
Yeah.
fucking places serving food and got breakfast.
Yeah, Saul's the guy who acts like a jackass in the bar, gets kicked out, and spends the next month complaining to his friends about it, while all the friends groan and just basically like, "Shut the fuck up!" like they want to throw you out of the conversation. But yeah, he's that guy.
Can you imagine Saul Spady's friends? Like, he's probably known
Mom
people
and
in this
dad?
town,
You're talking
right?
about
Yeah,
mom and
yeah. Other people
Best friends.
that he was set up on play dates with in the 90s, and who he's glommed onto ever since, and
Yeah.
and because he always had like the new Nintendo, like they were his friends. You got to imagine those people in his life. Just think of him as like an idiot, right? Like just a vapid moron. And how bizarre would it be to just know that if you had known him your whole life as just a fucking idiot,
To just watch.
just to know that he was on the
ascendant.
radio every day,
Yeah.
like.
Well, that he was dispensing any amount of advice. By the way, if you're Saul's like 50-year-old friend from childhood, are you like sitting there thinking, like, as you're getting rejected from restaurant after restaurant, you're like, oh man, that virtual boy is getting like less and less worth it every day.
I don't know, man. Virtual Boy's pretty tight.
Okay, I was just gonna say that's the effect the Virtual Boy had, all on its own merits.
That shit was cool. It may have flopped, but it was cool. I wanted to say two things related to what you both said. One is that you can only have this view of compartmentalizing your politics when you don't have basically anything to lose.
When they don't affect your fucking
like
Yeah.
that's why you can just go pause on your politics, because you're just like status quo and
when you say we should murder the homeless, the object of that sentence is not you, but rather homeless people.
Well, and what
Right.
Saul, I mean, I guess this is what is like always so infuriating about these comments is that, are these, articles that come out every week, is that, what Saul is complaining about is that, all those awful things I say that affect other people, they finally affected me one time in a very like minor way, but that might as well be an atomic bomb in my life.
right.
right.
It's like that dumbass.
Which is a refusal to take, responsibility for your own statements. Right?
Yeah, who got kicked out of that New York restaurant? Who's that? Like was it David Brooks?
Oh yeah. Dave Brooks got kicked out of one.
Like the same
threw his
exact
shit
thing. They
fit.
were basically like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, it's actually probably because of that stuff that happened in Washington and New York that gave this
It was John Podhoretz. It doesn't matter.
the writer, the waiter, this idea like, oh, hey, I can do this. This is some power I can take.
And then the
here.
other thing I was going to say is that I think just today, Brandy Cruz or Kraus or however you say it in Minnesota, had interviewed Shama Sawant about how divisive her politics are. And
I want to watch that.
yeah, so I think it's a program that's maybe going to get a full airing on Sunday. So it's just a teaser juxtaposing Sawant and Egan with his weird, like, unfinished Dead Kennedys necklace on. But Sawant, more or less says, like, well, you can't back down on this shit. Like, you have politics, and you're going to see that through, right? But like
weirdly,
for
as
Saul,
a politician, I think I should stand for
yeah,
something.
but for Saul, he's like, well, I didn't really mean it. Like, I just want to have some salmon, like none of this. This is just a game for me.
I am just doing the discourse.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Well,
This
politics
all
is a
fun and
weapon
games.
to be used against his enemies, not to be used against him.
Yeah, right.
You
Or
know?
to like dictate any aspect of his actual life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool guy. And he's not done yet. Stunned and not wanting to make a scene, I walked away. That's the funniest part to me. Just fucking Charlie Browning it out of that restaurant.
Yeah. He was definitely doing like the George Michael Bluth down the sidewalk, like just collapsing like on the sidewalk.
Fucking tail between his legs. Like, again, he's got no backbone.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you have a radio show.
Yeah, well, John Podhoretz probably did throw a shit fit
Yeah,
in
I
that
think he
restaurant, which
did.
I think people in the restaurant even said he threw a giant shit
did.
fit. Whereas, Saul's not going to do that. He's just a coward. He's
Yeah.
going to go away. He probably complained to his parents later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he did reach out to the owner, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the radio station. So here we go. My radio station, reached out to restaurant owner Julie Reisman.
See, he didn't even do it. He had his goons go.
Yeah,
do
because
it.
like you said, he probably said, "Oh, I couldn't have my eggs Benedict" to someone, and his producer, that guy Darren with one R or whatever, it's like, "Saul, we're gonna fix this for you, buddy.
We're gonna blow this thing wide open.
Yeah, we're gonna get those eggs big.
We're gonna get that guy fired.
We're gonna get Jesse from is it King 5? We're gonna get him get him on this shit."
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
Unfortunate situation. I had a server who was a person who spends a lot of time helping the homeless, especially around the neighborhood, and he was personally offended by an article Saul wrote. He took it upon himself to talk to Saul about
to
it.
that at all, though.
No,
if
they
I ever
don't.
Care. What article are we talking about here?
I mean, it could be anything he wrote.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's done this
everything he
grift,
says.
like,
I
multiple
want to
times.
believe it's the lawnmower article, but so that was why they're mad. Someone's like pushing a lawnmower into the restaurant. Like he's gonna set it next to him. I'll have eggs Benedict in my lawnmower. We'll have it as well. Just like throwing things into the lawnmower.
Yeah, or like bring all your clippings in. In a quick rebuttal, he did not attempt to engage me in a conversation on homelessness, the problem, or our different solutions.
Well, again, too, like this is again that conservative thing of like nobody owes you engagement on this fucking subject, right? Like it's like, yeah, your opinion is well represented in this city, like so nobody owes you a discussion over it.
I have engaged with your side by reading or listening to it, by knowing it,
by being forced to like fucking hear it over and over
forced
again.
to know that it has a real like powerful place in the politics of the city.
Yeah, your discussion's been engaged in by every media outlet in the city nonstop for months. Yeah, so nobody owes you a discussion.
So the next
or a
phase
conversation,
after all of that engagement in the discourse is shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Right. Totally. All he did was to deny me service, which is illegal in Seattle, by the way.
Absolutely not true. What the fuck is he talking
and also
about?
just jerk off motion forever. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Even if it is, who cares?
Yeah, right. In fact, I still don't even know what specific rhetoric he was referring to, because it's all terrible and bad.
Yeah, I know. Again, I have so many awful opinions. Which one could it be?
Which crime was it? It may be my idea to create a new, softer short-term jail. So this is where he, like, you know, trots out all his good ideas, good in quotes. This is
another jail.
Yeah. Well, this is a softer short-term jail.
That just says it all right.
Yeah, because it's another jail, so you can put more people in it. You know?
But it's a softer one. This is an idea based around a community farm structure.
Oh shit!
Y'all like feudalism?
That's Angola.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hell yeah! Somebody should tell Saul they already got that shit, dude. It'll be built on a plantation model. You know, Jesus Christ.
Well, there will also be much needed rehab.
This is, I mean, what he doesn't get right here. We're talking about homelessness.
Yeah, and now he's
You're
talking
about incarceration. That's the rhetoric.
Well, that's his only
asshole.
solution, right?
You miserable fuck.
When again, I like this. Like they've not heard my unique ideas on it yet, which is more policing and more jails. That thing that literally every news media outlet says all the time. Yeah.
He closes this thought by saying it's called farm jail.
Yeah, again, Angola. It already exists, bud. Like they have documentaries about it and everything.
I want to play that Zynga game. Can I do that? Farm jail? Maybe he was offended by my most recent piece calling out our Attorney General on his lack of awareness of the homeless children in our state. So again, this is that whole fucking canard of like we must save only the children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's save the deserving people. Oh, and the problems the solutions are simple because the problems are just the few dumb people who are running the show, you know, and the little details on the margins.
That, and it's like when you combine that with your previous statement about building the short-term jail. Like I feel like I know what your solution is for homeless children. Which is,
it's farm work.
Yeah.
Or the extremely hard-hitting Seattle's best isn't good enough.
I want to get hit hard by that.
Yeah, it is hyperlinked, but we did not read it.
Strong skip.
Luckily for me, I might be able to eat my favorite meal again because Glow's owner Julie confirms It's not our policy to tell customers that they can or cannot eat here based on what they think. It's not our policy. It's not our game.
You know what? That's
Translation, I fired that motherfucker.
Yeah.
They might have, but that's also kind of in the restaurant business. There is this sort of manager talk sometimes where you'll when a customer complains, just to get them to go away, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's definitely not like store policy or whatever. And then you just go into the back and you'd be like, the fucking guy just was going on about and you all laugh about it and fucking joke and all that kind of stuff. So it could have gone either way. Somebody should go check to see if that.
Well,
that
so now
host
he's
is
getting
still there.
spit with his salmon, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. They're all like, next time he comes in, we're gonna shit on that fucking plate.
They're gonna find some houseless person to jizz in.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that happens sometimes too. So I mean, that one really could go either way.
Yeah.
So somebody should check on the host there, see if they're still breathing.
Well, let's hope so. So she concludes this thought by saying, Saul is welcome.
Don't like that. That makes me lean towards firing.
Do we need to hear any more of this?
No, I think that's good. I think
all
we
right.
can kill that. Yeah, Saul sucks. He's a giant fucking baby, and just like all these conservatives, just a giant fucking baby.
Well, it is funny. He goes on to talk about his ad agency. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, we don't need to read this. He's a child.
Yeah, he's a baby, like all of them.
Yeah.
Is he
Little
like,
baby
I
and
have
gets
a
eggs
small
Benny.
business
Yes.
too, so I blah blah. Oh
Basically.
God.
And while he's saying any
You
part,
see, well, I also have a small business, and so I know what it is like to serve the customer.
well, we do. Yeah, we should
my
read the
Saul Spady
funniest
impression.
part of this, which is that he goes through how great he is as a person.
Oh.
Because this is, saying, hey, did you know I actually work with Mary's Place, so I'm cool and good, and you should like me.
Him and Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
Working together.
And so once he's done kind of, I guess, tugging at his own little wanker, he says, I challenge Glows alongside the rest of the Seattle business community to join with us this year to see where we can align and how we can make a difference.
Yeah,
I'm sure it makes sense to him that
Yeah, well,
people need to come together to solve a problem. But when you come together to solve a problem identified by genocidaires, you're gonna end up gassing people.
Well, and again, it's one of those things. It's written in this like awful, stupid language. But yeah, literally, his conclusion is, I'm calling on all these Russians just agree with me. Yeah, I mean that's like the conclusion. It's like I look, I'm calling all you Seattle people. Don't be rude. Agree with me.
Yeah.
I have
It's like-
polled
Be born rich.
all of the Seattle small business tyrant community, and they agree with me.
Yeah, and the owner of Glows probably does agree with him and hates homeless people too. It's just like, there's just happens to be more non-business owners than business owners, thankfully.
Maybe this is a good time to wrap this up, to shout out a great discussion on the rhetoric around homelessness that probably pissed off this server that Saul Spady participates in, and that was on one of our favorite podcasts, Citations Needed.
All right,
And
bleep that out, Colin.
There are no other podcasts.
we have
on
recommended Citations Needed on this podcast
very
many
good.
times. It is very good. I recommend it. It's in my suite of podcasts I recommend to people to wean themselves off of NPR. And I feel they took a break for several weeks, for
they were
over
they were
a
gone
month,
for
and
a
then
while.
came out with just part one on this topic. And they covered, wouldn't you know it, on the rhetoric surrounding homelessness, they got into Seattle is dying. And I think a couple of things. I think this, first of all, explains why they took several weeks off, because just watching the clips, they all thought, like, I'm never doing a podcast again.
Yeah, right.
Like, they probably just had to reach, it probably took so long to put this together. Also, being among the only people outside, like, on the left who actually, like, outside of real, like, MAGA shitheads and Magnolia homeowners who actually watched that thing all the way through.
Yeah.
Colin and I,
God, that almost killed us.
yeah, I mean, and anyone who listened to us watching, I mean, we did a whole episode, which we should
like
link
a
to.
2-hour.
Actually,
long.
we should send that to those guys and be like, and call them out, because they definitely did not watch that shit.
No, they didn't.
They they just those cheaters just went to the internet and pulled the clips.
Our buddy Eric, they were like, "Look at this dumbass."
Well, and like,
exactly.
in about 6 weeks of having off, they could only get through the clips on the internet. They couldn't watch,
right.
which I sympathize
All
with
the
because it took me
same clips.
days to get through that fucking
all the
documentary.
same clips that everybody pulled out, and then all the like discourse was about was this handful of clips on the internet. When, holy shit, they didn't even get I swear to God, nobody watched that shit but us, because like there is shit in that will curdle your fucking blood.
Oh yeah,
that they didn't even touch.
It is
no one
extremely cursed.
They
one but us
literally
touched.
do a slow pan over an island prison and basically are like, "Oh, let's
This
build a
is it,
concentration
folks."
camp,
I know.
guys." And I love that nobody ever brings this up.
I
It
was
blows
waiting
my
for them
mind.
to drop that too.
It's at
No,
the
that's what made me
end
know
of
that
the
they
2
didn't
hours.
because it's at the end. You'd have
It's
to
at
get
the
to
end of the 2 fucking hours.
It's unbelievable.
Actually,
So
we need to blow them up.
So
on
called
Twitter.
out, citations needed.
Yes,
do better.
Call them out.
Well, yeah.
But anyways,
We did the real journalism of watching that horror show.
Yeah.
I think and I think we commented on all but maybe 10 minutes of it, so it's pretty much all there.
But yeah, go listen to that episode, and go listen to episode 77 as well about misery porn as well, which is also about like stories made to shame the poor on the local news and stuff like that. Which is Saul is also a a pig that wallows in. So
they also have great episodes, which I think we've talked about before, on the media portrayal of police officers. And how cute and good they are when they do things like pull you over and not give you a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm falling in love with cops because of TikTok. So.
That's true. TikTok has that effect on all demographics.
I fall in love with cops' wives that cheat on them, which is my favorite genre of TikTok.
Well, before
Seriously, if you are a cop's wife out there listening to this, because you hate your cop husband,
slide into those DMs.
Dude, slide up into those DMs right now.
But before we really wrap up, Spady, he has one more challenge for his listeners that might be incensed by this new rhetoric.
Try to listen to a whole episode of my show.
And the fact that they may be held accountable for their reprehensible beliefs, which is
at like a Crimes Against Humanity trial, for example. Someday.
Which is take a deep breath and go check out Glows and leave a tip with a note mentioning the Saul Spady show.
All right.
So
calm down, Saul.
He thinks he's gonna send a message.
He wants to harass. He's organizing a harassment
the Saul
campaign.
Spady street team's gonna get out there. There's gonna be like 15 kids who just eat 3 meals a day there for like 2 weeks.
Could you imagine the like camo-clad ex-urban weirdos that listen to the Saul Spady show, like trying to get their F-350s down to Capitol Hill to fucking eat at Glow, so that they can have salmon brunch. So they can have salmon Benedict at brunch with like a delicious mimosa. Like, I mean, they would self-destruct. There's no way, Saul. I think you're barking up the wrong tree.
What do
on
you
this
mean
one.
you don't serve milkshakes at 10 in the morning?
Yeah, you're barking up the wrong tree on this one, Saul. This is not going to work.
Yeah.
Love him. Gotta love him.
Cool, great guy. He definitely
I'll
earned
have the
everything
moods
he
over
has.
my hammy, please. Why don't you know what that is? The last time I think I ate at Denny's, it was like a lemon pound cake that soaked in maple syrup and fried in a pan like French toast, and I think it was supposed to be lembas bread for Lord of the Rings. Anyway,
What?
Brian,
What?
you would have loved it.
Oh, I would have ordered that in a second.
Was Smeagol your server?
Yeah, speaking of anti-poor rhetoric and general attitudes.
Yeah. So this last week was the first week of Seattle Public Schools. It was the first day after Labor Day, I believe, which was Tuesday.
Yeah, they all started like on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
It seemed like,
And someone had the great idea to just, meet the kids where they are on their way to school. And
it's important in education to meet the kids where they're at.
Really just make sure that they're paying their way on public transportation. So if you didn't see,
very cool.
Yeah, if you didn't see this, it sucked a lot. I think there was a video. There was at least a photo.
There was a video. Jesse Agopian, who teaches at Garfield, I believe, had posted a video online, or a link to it, maybe.
Yeah, and so I think at the Seattle SDOT, like, basically came out and said, "Oh, this is fine. We weren't issuing tickets, and if we were, it's because they already had an infraction a month ago."
Well, they said they did issue the tickets. There was a very simple process for the students to go and get
Pick
the
up
ticket.
their voucher.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah, cool.
Definitely necessary.
I didn't read into it that far. I bought the basic headline, which was, well, they don't really get a fine, but it sounds like they have to jump through some bureaucratic hoops.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
basically, the story is the fair enforcement was out in force.
Yeah.
Apparent ticketing
to
fucking
get those kids
on
revenue
their way to
opportunity.
school, where they will go and pick up their
Orca card.
free Orca card, which they organized for and won.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's how the fuck they get to school.
Which also
is on public
one of
transit.
the only good things that Durkin has done in the last year.
Yeah, and what didn't
fine,
come out of her
forced her
ass.
hand. It doesn't count if you're forced to do it.
right.
But yeah, I mean,
The one good thing she caved
She'd
on.
let happen. Yeah.
and it was interesting. I mean, in other major cities, right, where students use public transit to get to school, some people have posted, I think somebody in Philly have posted, basically fair enforcement just doesn't exist the day that kids are going to school, right? Because it was the students, But yeah, I mean, this is targeted, right? We talked about they're wanting to increase fair enforcement in Central District, Pioneer Square, and the ID on the streetcars. And clearly this was a targeted enforcement of hey, here's a bunch of kids we can get right now.
Right.
We know they're not going to have a card.
Yeah.
We know that, and they did it.
It's
cool.
It's
good to have a plan and
unbelievable.
follow through.
Look, it's hard to believe there'll be any kind of big investigation or documents that come out that'll show what level this originated at. But you can believe it kind of doesn't matter. Either it's somewhere higher up at SDOT that's had this great idea, or it's down to the fair enforcement officers themselves going, my job is to cite people for fair enforcement because the rules are very important and my existence is to enforce the rules with the authority and force of the state, and I get the shortest distance between 2 points without any moral or sort of social consideration is let me go and fuck with, intimidate, get off on ticketing these kids who I mean, fucking unbelievable.
When it seemed that there was a larger presence of fair enforcement, which would imply a higher up decision. But either way, even if it was made at a lower level, they had to have the mindset that it was going to be okay, right? That that they had the backing of upper management,
or that this was the right thing to do. This was good.
And
because the solution to all problems in our society is punishment,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
And this isn't so where there is an opportunity to punish someone under the law means that also that person should be punished because that's how our society works. If the law stipulates that punishment is deserved, that means punishment is necessary because otherwise our society falls apart. That's what any cop believes, right?
Yeah.
So these wannabe cops that's what they're thinking. They're going just following the rules, the letter of the law here. Let me, intimidate and make this person feel bad and make them jump through bureaucratic hoops just to scare them into ever breaking a rule in their life or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
that's really going to be the effect.
Yeah, and I mean, there is this natural tendency, which is quite frankly, it's left over from slavery or whatever. That the idea that black people are these simple creatures that they have to be punished every step of the way, right, to keep them in line. All this, and it was targeted at black students, and it's one of those things that it is just quite frankly impossible to believe that these fair enforcement officers didn't know that these were high school students going to pick up their Orca cards. I mean, that this wasn't just a targeted operation to try and fuck these kids over, who are now, because they SDOT was called out, they're going to potentially refund the tickets after you go through some sort of process, which of course they're counting on the fact that nobody will do it. But
Well, yeah, I mean,
or that
and
if
just
you
like-
will do it. Yeah.
Even if you do, God, what a fucking nightmare hassle.
Yeah, no, it's
to have
horse
to
shit.
fuck
Yeah, the
with
whole
it.
thing's horse shit.
It's just disgusting. I mean, they should be able to just hand them in at school, their citations, and hopefully that's what'll happen is
Yeah.
they should be able
The
to hand them in at
school will just
school.
deal with it.
The school district should collect them all in a pile and go up to SDOT, like take the elevator to the SDOT offices and just throw the box at someone's fucking head and said, "These don't exist. Make that happen. Keep copies of them." But like, because what's funny is like how fucking absurd this is. Not to like, I mean, what's the school district thinking? They're like, it would never occur. Like, this is so insane. They're like, they can just pick up their cars on the first day. No, we don't need to mail them out. Just too many of them will get lost. They won't have them.
Yeah.
We will give them. We'll give a little presentation. We'll make them show. We'll tell them this is how you use it on the first day of school, because they're not going to get fucking ticketed on the first day of school. They're students with backpacks going to school. What's stupid is that it's only because our society is so punitive, is so obsessed with enforcing the rules at every possible point that they even need Orca cards. Once they fought for the right to use public transportation free of charge to get to school, they shouldn't need fucking Orca cards, because they should just get on and go about their day.
Like all of us should.
Right.
Especially
But once you
children.
right, because it's obvious their kids going to school. But in our society, that doesn't compute, because it's like, well, how that then that could be
Kid might
abused.
they
know,
might be riding that fucking bus for free.
or some
exactly.
some
It might-
19-year-old graduate or dropout could be nefariously corrupt,
it would
abusing
lead
that system.
to like 12 particularly young-looking 22-year-olds getting free bus rides occasionally, and that cannot
at
happen.
8 in the fucking morning.
And again, this comes back to this thing that we've talked about on the show before, which is you could do just what a lot of countries have done, or like what, in my experience in Germany, is functionally done, which is just don't care whether people pay their fare or not.
Yeah.
You don't need fare enforcement.
Yeah.
Just don't give a shit, right? And actually collect taxes to pay, and don't have user fees paying for your public transit.
Which I think, didn't that also
Which
come
would
out
resolve this issue.
in the wake of this? Was that it was revealed, at least corroborated, that what's spent on fare enforcement exceeds the...
Well, that's not the point.
This is what we
well,
talked...
obviously.
Yeah,
right.
this is what-
systematically, that's
when they
not
talked
the
about
point.
putting fare enforcement on the streetcar, they didn't specifically mention the article, but the writer, I think, because the Seattle Times is the Seattle Times, but the writer did very cleverly put, like, in very close proximity, I think, in the same paragraph, what the cost of fare enforcement was versus what they thought they were going to collect. Which, you if you're a regular Seattle Times reader, you're probably so brain dead that wouldn't come
It
together
just flew
for you.
over
But
your
looking at it, it's like, oh wow, this
but
is
that's
just
not the
lost
point. The
money.
revenue,
Yeah.
the revenue is not the point.
Right.
The lost revenue of ridership.
It's about
the
cracking
thought
skulls.
that anyone could be getting something for free.
Heaven
And
forbid.
you know that those people who are going to get that for free are people who need it most, which means
Yeah. They
which
absolutely
means
can't
in a
have it.
meritocracy they deserve it the least. Okay? So that's the danger, because we're fucking little rule pigs. And
Well, especially here in this town.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. And the worst possible thing that could happen is someone could be getting out of line somewhere and getting something for free. Breaking a rule,
Especially a
getting something for
child.
free that they need because they can't afford it and therefore don't deserve. That's like fucking
Somebody going
crime
to
at-
school, like...
That's public enemy number one.
Well, it's the
A
sort
shirker.
it's sort of the classic argument that, like, investigating, pursuing, and resolving a bank robbery pretty much always exceeds the cost of the robbery itself, right? And the issue is like, well, of course, economically it doesn't make sense, but you have to think about politically, right? Because it's not the crime isn't an economic crime. The crime is a political crime, and in this case, you're right. The crime is a poor person thinking they deserve something, and that has to be squashed at every opportunity.
Thinking they can get away with something.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, think they deserve something or have a right to something, right? Which is the same as thinking you can get away with it.
Think they can have a right to it. Think they can get away with stealing it. Mm-hmm. And if we all thought or knew that we could get away with shit, then yeah, that would be a political problem.
Yeah.
that's little Timmy Burgess, right? That's his theory of man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Without these fair enforcement officers, it would just be fucking Lord of the Flies on that first day of school. So yeah, that obviously was awful and really dominated Twitter that day.
Hey, Jesse Agopin, you won the day on Twitter with this awful thing you saw on the bus.
Yeah, like a flashing sign. You win the internet.
Yeah.
So the other bit of awesome transportation news that came out today is this is the headline in the Times. Seattle to cancel $52 million deal to buy streetcars, but says First Avenue project still on track.
Still on track. Just no cars.
Shit. I mean, you'd have to know every in and out of this to make sense of any of this. This is so these are the streetcars that came out several months ago that they had ordered the wrong ones.
Well, that's
they
what
were
they
too
claimed.
heavy.
No, they claimed they were like too wide, and then that was debunked.
Yeah. Well, no, it was debunked hilariously by Train Twitter, which is a very powerful lobby on Twitter, which Jay Durkin was not counting on. And all the train nerds basically were like, well, actually her to death.
Yeah. And then she was like, they don't fit. They don't fit in the barn.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And it just turned out they had to like extend the
that's
barn
awfully fucking sus, okay?
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, whatever the details were, everything about this fucking project under Durkin has been trying to kill it.
Yeah.
Like,
she also didn't want to link the rail lines either, like in the city. So I mean, this is like the third effort to kill it. At this point. Yeah.
So whatever, this is going to slow it down. Eventually, it just never happens. They just never fucking do it.
Let's run through the first few paragraphs to see if I think we only need to read like the first four or so to kind of see where we're at.
This is Heidi, and I think this is sort of Heidi's pet project here.
So she probably knows the ins and outs of this shit.
Oh, yeah.
She's on the transit beat.
Yeah. And Heidi Groover, if you're not familiar.
Come on, Seattle Sox, please. We're very stupid. Please explain this.
Yeah. Please do. So she begins, facing a longer timeline and rising costs, Seattle will cancel its contract to buy 10 new streetcars for the planned Center City Connector line.
So this is a completely unique thing in city transit projects in that it's both not meeting the deadline and going to be more expensive than we thought before.
Never happened before. And definitely both those things are occurring because it's just a terrible project that has gone awry, not because of mismanagement.
And every project has been canceled. That this has happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so
honestly,
we've begun with this is a very unique situation. Let's continue. Before we get into it a little bit. Because
I'm not saying it's hard to know, again, without knowing all the ins and outs and all the what is really going on and what is bullshit. It's hard to know what's what. But let's say it's true that this streetcar deal, I mean, if they can really cancel it and just not pay for them and order different ones, then what was this all about in the first place? I don't know. But whatever. Let's say, oh shit, we're stuck with a $17 million overrun to upgrade a bunch of shit to make this all work out to finish this project. So the fuck what? In a functioning society, you're like, oh yeah, we pay more people more because we $17 million on needed transit infrastructure, efficiency, getting the absolute like bang out of every dollar with nothing anyone can be called out for waste or mistakes or something, is a bullshit. This is a way of thinking that is designed to justify and achieve austerity.
Right.
That's all. In a system where Jeff was paying for it because we taxed him, then who cares about that $17 million? Like,
well, and it's worth pointing out, so the overrun $17 million, which if you've like followed any urban transit project anywhere in America, is like comically low as far as overruns go.
Sure.
But yeah, the issue is that it is a cost overrun. It is going to take longer than it should, and that is 100% because it's all private, public partnerships, which is what causes all these problems. The private side of that, but the issue being, why does it matter right now, and it hasn't mattered on any other transit project that like real estate interests desperately wanted?
Yeah.
Right, and it's like. This is all, you're right. It's a canard. It's bullshit,
Yeah.
It's pointing to the thing that happens to every transit project, but being like, no, in this case, it's bad.
Any project of any kind, things come up, you fix them.
Sure.
Things are different. You these are big, complicated things. There's never going to be a thing that like exactly the way the plans went out. Like it's just stupid.
Well, I think this is a perfect juxtaposition with the previous issue we were just talking about too, because we don't care if we're losing money enforcing fares, but suddenly we care a lot if we're losing money on streetcars.
Well, we don't give a shit that the tunnel to replace the viaduct is $1 billion over budget and years late.
Yeah.
But a streetcar is a big problem. Well, real estate interests benefit quite a bit from that tunnel, but maybe they don't see the benefit in the streetcar, right? And like that's the difference, actually.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, it has nothing to do with money. It's like, it really is that. Like, it has to do with money, I guess, just not the budget for the project. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing about like, because they use the same rhetoric with all like homeless services too. Where, like, we have this homeless service that's only 99% efficient and not 100% efficient, and therefore is not worth it. Like, they spend all the time going like, is there a single ounce or grain of waste in this project? Which is something, of course, that if it was going to if it was money going to Jeff, right, they wouldn't care at all. That it's 100% waste. Right?
Whatever. Maybe they're. I don't get it. Maybe they're able to cancel that order and just order different streetcars that they like better. But like more likely, this is just a thing that drags it out longer and longer and longer.
Well, and Jenny is
till it just never happens, and then is a line item that they threw up in her first term, cut out of the budget, and didn't have to spend.
Well, and Mary Jenny from the beginning has been like expressly against the streetcar.
Yeah.
So I mean, to claim that, at least from her side, that this has to do with like fiscal management is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which it's also worth pointing out that like, members of her camp, they're like running her campaign, were basically like working for Uber and Lyft.
Right.
And I mean, and if you remember during the period of maximum constraint, right, she had the, transit authority for Seattle, like posting tweets basically saying like, hey, traffic bad out there, call a Lyft, call an Uber, right? It was fucking crazy, to have like public transit authorities basically saying call rideshare. But I mean, that's clearly her game. Like, I don't know if she thinks she's getting a job with them afterwards or they're just paying her right now, but like, public transit is not.
What else is she gonna do? She can't run for any other office.
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty fucked. I mean, I don't think anybody likes her here. And her winning in 2021, I think is when she runs. I think her winning in that is like, not likely.
That is so low.
Yeah, she might Lyndon Johnson it and just get out because it looks so fucking bad. Minus some like big thing happening. I don't know.
No, there's no thing
minus
that could make anyone like
false
Jenny
flag
Durkin.
operation.
Yeah,
I'm calling it right now, guys.
No October surprise could save this for.
But yeah,
for
I
Jenny.
mean, I think she's just expressly anti-public transit because she is receiving compensation from rideshare apps.
Yeah, and like most yuppies, doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, I mean, she, again, which we can't stay on the show enough, is one of the richest people in the city. So what does she fucking care if you have a hard time getting around?
Yeah.
Hey, get more money.
Right. Totally. And we've also talked about how technocrats and wonks love those startups because they're brain geniuses or something.
Yeah. Well, again, as Greg had mentioned earlier, too, I mean, this is about deserve, too. I mean, if your life is hard because of the transit situation because you don't have money, well, clearly you deserve it. So why is it anybody else's, responsibility to improve it in any way, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I just saw a quote, I think is somebody that listens to the show. It might have been Ben Oshalism.
Must be a very smart quote.
I think it was, but they... It was rhetoric from San Francisco, so I know not exactly Seattle sucks, but it was some tech exec basically saying, well, I have a good job and make a lot of money, so I deserve to own the city, and people that can't live here need to just get the fuck out. Like, literally just need to get the fuck out. Like, this is my reward. The city is my reward.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I mean, that's certainly, it is not hard to find that language.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I mean, I think that's how rich people think. I think that the danger of the Epstein stuff going away isn't that we're not going to get to the bottom of the pedo crisis. It's that people are going to forget that this is who rich people are. Like, this is how they are.
Yeah, shout out Bill Gates, by the way.
Yeah, shout out Bill Gates. I can't wait for this to come up in your Netflix special that you just announced. But I mean, that this is who rich people are, which is like having that amount of money makes you
A
fundamentally awful. You become inhuman basically at that point.
Yeah, you're an
Like,
alien.
Yeah, you're so separated from the human species that you just don't see it anymore.
Right.
You're like
just because
Dr. Manhattan with a smaller dick.
And you can't just go to Mars anytime you want.
Yeah. Well,
Yet.
Jeff's tried.
Yeah, yet.
Jeff's tried.
Yeah, it's not just because lifestyles are different and there's no interaction, which is how that's framed, say, in like liberal America about being in a bubble or something.
Yeah.
Because the daily concerns of your life don't exist.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone else's life is just constant mortal
Right,
terror.
right. How am I
of
gonna
one
make it
kind or
till
another.
tomorrow?
Either you're literally like gonna be murdered somewhere or if it, and even possibly that is a fear you have daily in America, or just like you're worried you'll like end up on the street and die that way,
Yeah.
Well, just think I mean, all the things that can happen to you that probably a lot of us have had to think about at various times that if you're wealthy, you never have to think about, which is you don't have to worry about dying because you don't have health insurance, right? Or your insurance is so bad, right? You don't have to worry about dying in a car wreck on your god-awful fucking commute.
And unfortunately, it's those worries
Yeah.
that make up what your human experience
Yeah.
is. That
Right.
is what you're thinking
Yeah.
about
Well,
all the time.
you-
Is shit like
if
this.
you're rich,
that's
one
who
thing-
you are.
Yeah, if you're rich, one
It's
thing
your
you don't
whole
have to worry
fucking
about
identity.
dying in a mass shooting, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, you don't give a shit about any of that, right? Not having to have those sort of daily worries, those mortal worries and things like that. Yeah, I mean, it makes you functionally apart from like humanity in a lot of ways.
Jenny Durkin, functionally apart from humanity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all there is to say on that. I mean, that's a fucked
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
never
Cool.
have fucking transit, like
Yeah.
a real transit system in this town.
Which is cool because the planet is still on fire. So, fuck public
Well,
transit, I
when you
guess.
put it that way, who cares? I guess.
The market will solve it.
Just like it did.
Eventually.
Yeah, it'll solve it with a
The
bullet
market
farm.
will save itself
Right. Yeah.
by killing us.
Yeah.
Well, life will go on. Life finds a way. So I think that was it. So we have some new patrons, some new friends. David Schold, Godfish, and Chris Polina. Thank you so much. It's just been raining patrons with that storm. I imagine they were all formed in that lightning.
Yeah, it all came
Zeus's
down
hand.
to earth
Like
in.
like ball lightning. They've shown up in our lives, bouncing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome to the madhouse. Related to the whole class war, I think, Brian, are we still going to the Beacon on Thursday to see Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Eyes Wide Shut, Beacon. If you have Epstein brain, go see it. All I remember it as being a very disappointing movie when I was in 7th grade. Not enough nudity to my liking at the time. So excited for a rewatch.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah,
One of my favorite Kubricks for sure.
really.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I fucking
Okay.
love that movie.
Real quick, let's go in a circle. Favorite Kubrick
And
movie.
I guess
Barry
it sounds like.
Lyndon.
I don't, dude. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
First off, Greg has never not had an opinion about a director's best movie. This is
Whatever. I don't even want to.
It is
Fuck off.
increasingly hard to do that. But yeah, so you might catch some of us there. At least Brian and myself will probably be there. That's 6:30 at the Beacon, which is on Rainier. Go check it out.
Great. Yeah,
Say
we haven't
hello.
really talked about the Beacon yet, have we? But
Well, a little
new
bit.
movie theater.
Yeah.
On Rainier.
Yep.
Wait,
friend
Greg,
of ours.
new movie theater, but old movies.
Yeah, exactly. A repertory theater, if you will.
Not only old movies, but yeah.
And one of our oldest friends, Casey Moore, as well as his buddy Tommy, who is a very cool sort of leftist type who, between the two of them, they're programming
They're running this whole thing. Yeah.
fucking string of movies. Really great series there. So yeah, definitely going out. I'll be out there on Thursday, I think.
Okay,
for
good.
that. And we've heard some rumors of some other guest appearance possibilities we can't talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and again, to reiterate, this is part of their class war program, I think.
Yeah.
So they've got a bunch of class related movies.
Trading Places.
Trading Places.
Comedies of Class.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
no, that's a different... No, that's the comedies one. Okay, this is something
Well,
else.
they do have
This is-
comedies. It's just
this
Tales
is
of
listed in
Class.
that, but they are going to be showing 9 to 5 at some point.
They
which
are?
People should
Yeah.
go watch that. if you
Yeah,
haven't seen it.
Trading Places is
Awesome
one of
rules.
my favorite films of all time.
Also, Wolf of Wall Street will be playing as part of that series. But yeah, it's legit. And Society, which is playing
This is
Thursday as
fucking
well.
Society.
And I'm sticking around for that shit.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm-
after?
Yeah, I'm doing
Oh,
double
okay.
feature.
I could not
Dude,
leave.
you have to see it.
Dude, it's fucking... Dude, if you have not seen Society,
Let's
if you
get
like
shunted.
listening to this podcast, if you jive with this, our sensibility...
Yeah, if you don't just
have not
immediately
seen-
turn our show
How
off-
long was I telling you to watch Society?
Dude,
And
years,
you were like,
literally.
yeah, okay, and finally you did. And
When I
what
saw
was
it,
the
changed
effect?
my life.
You were like, holy shit.
It changed my life.
No, it's this thing that no one has ever seen this fucking movie, but it is so... It's one of these things that, like, you watch. It is a satire of the
Yeah.
ruling class.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's the series that they're playing right now. Is stuff like that. The discreet charm of the bourgeoisie.
Yeah,
Eyes
yeah.
Wide Shut. But this is one that, like Eyes Wide Shut, in a very way, like if you have Epstein brain,
Yeah.
before Epstein brain, you were going, wow, this is this heightened exaggeration, or this a metaphor,
Right,
this
right.
grotesque metaphor
Yeah.
for the ruling class. And now you go, oh, it's just slightly exaggerated and stylized. Absolutely insane, fucking amazing,
It rules.
like, movie.
You're going to love it. I
Yeah, that
guarantee
is
it.
a fucked up double feature. I
Oh,
love
hell
it, dude.
yeah.
I am all in.
Thank
for
God.
that.
I'm glad.
dude. Yeah, that's
So, yeah,
gonna
you
be
might
great.
catch all of us there. So come out. Say hello.
for sure.